Hi, Reginald. Hi, everybody out there. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited.
I know. This is welcome back to Stories with
Reginald. Oh, yeah, we had a great story last week, but what are we reading today, Pastor Andy?
What's on your nose?
It's a blue nose.
Blue nose. Well, that's good because the book that we're reading today is called If I Only Had a Green Nose by Max Lucado.
A green nose?
Yeah, not a blue, green.
Can we get a marker and then change the story title?
If I can only... No.
Okay. If I Only Had a Green Nose by Max Lucado.
Yeah, but before we start, I have a riddle for you. I know how you love riddles.
Oh, I love riddles, yeah.
All right, so here it is. Two guys walk into a store and they steal a calendar.
Oh, stealing's not good. They shouldn't steal.
No, they shouldn't steal. Stealing's bad. But they steal a calendar and eventually they get caught.
Of course they get caught.
And they have to go before a judge because they're getting past sentence. What sentence did the burglars get?
You mean what punishment did they get?
What punishment did the two guys who stole the calendar get?
I have no idea.
None?
None.
They each got 6 months.
Oh.
I get it?
6 months, they kind of ripped the calendar in half?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Pastor Andy, I got one for you.
You got a joke or a riddle?
I got a riddle for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, how many tickles does it take for an octopus to laugh?
How many tickles does it take an octopus? Well, I'm going with 8 arms on an octopus. 8. 8 tickles.
Nope, you're wrong. 10 tickles. 10 tickles. Get it? Octopuses have tentacles? 10 tickles.
Oh, I think it's time for the book.
I think it's time.
All right, so this is written by Max Lucado, and the illustrations are by Sergio Martinez.
Oh, I like the pictures. It looks like it's a puppet.
He does, and you like puppets, don't you?
Oh, I love puppets.
All right, I'm going to try to read it this way, okay, so everyone can see the pictures as I'm reading.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Lucia and Punchinello looked out of the window of Ellie's workshop. Like other Rimricks, that's what he was a Rimrick, they were wooden people. But unlike other Rimricks, they weren't standing in line in the village below. Look at them all, Punchinello exclaimed. I don't understand it. Lucia wondered, why would anyone want to paint his nose green?
Not blue?
Not blue.
Okay.
Because everyone else is, Eli responded. Without looking up from his workbench, Punchinello didn't understand. What do you mean? Everyone wants to look like everyone else. Sometimes it's square hats. Sometimes it's tall shoes. Why, last year, the big thing was yellow ears. Now it's green noses. Everyone wants a green nose.
Well, maybe next year it'll be a blue nose.
Yeah,
like
hopefully.
mine.
Does a green nose make them smarter, Punchinello asked? No. Does a green nose make them stronger? No. Does it make them faster? No. Then what does a green nose make them? Eli looked up and smiled. Greener.
Greener.
Right. But this smile left as he looked out the window at the long line of Wimricks. They think they'll be happier if they all look alike. But I made them differently on purpose. Freckles, long noses, bright eyes, dark eyes. These were my ideas. Now, they all want to look the same. Not me, said Lucia. I'm happy just the way you made me. Me too, agreed Punchinello. I don't need to have a green nose to feel special. Then he paused and looked at the village. But I wouldn't like to see how many green noses look up. I said I would like to see how those green noses look up close. Want to go?
Like that?
Yeah. Eli smiled as the two stood to leave. Just remember, I made you different on purpose, he told them. From street level, the line looked even longer, and the noses even greener, Lucia said. Punchinello and Lucia worked their way to the front of the crowd and watched as one Rimmick after another stepped into the nose coloring store and came out painted. It's The last thing, barked the Wimrick on this. It's the latest thing, barked the Wimrick on the sidewalk. Don't be the only Wimrick with a plain old nose.
Can't have a plain nose.
No, no plain noses. Who's that? Asked Punchinello. Lucia shrugged. I don't know. Why, that's Mr. Wally Whithit. Volunteered a Wimrick from behind them? There he is.
Wally.
Does he run the nose painting store? Asked Punchinello. More than that, the Wimrick explained. Painted noses were his idea. So were the square hats and the tall shoes and the yellow ears. New things are his thing. He decides what is Whithit and what is the best. Punchinello and Lucia took a good look at the tall Wimrick with his deep voice, big smile, tall hat, green bow tie, and marched his great green nose. Both were thinking the same thing. Lucia asked it, who made him the new thing picker? The Wimrick looked puzzled. Like he'd never been asked the question. Well, I don't know. He always has. Then his eyes brightened. Wait, look. Here comes a new nose.
A new nose?
Oh, said the Wimrick. Admired the others. The just-painted Wimrick couldn't stop to speak. He just kept his nose in the air and walked past. All the green-nosed Wimricks did this. After all, how could your nose be seen if it wasn't stuck up in the air?
Like this?
Yep. Walking around high-nosed, however, was risky. Wimricks walked into walls, doors, and each other.
Oh, no.
Lucia and Punchinello had to be very careful. One Wimrick took up the whole street. Step back, he announced. It was the mayor. Make way, every Wimrick. My wife's coming in for a nose touch-up.
The mayor's wife?
Yep. With one hand, he waved back the citizens. With the other, he guided her through the crowd. Horrible, just horrible, she cried, covering her nose with both hands. I chipped some paint when I bumped into a tree. Now, the real me is showing. Horrible, just horrible. As the crowd passed, Lucia shook her head. Such a fuss over the green nose. Yeah, agreed Punchinello. You'll never catch me in the nose-coloring store. There it is. Ah, Punch, I was hoping you'd go. Punchinello recognized the voice immediately. Twiggy? He turned and looked at the wide-eyed, sweet-smiling Wimrick. His eyes began to turn red. They always did when he saw her. He reached up and covered them. Why don't you paint your nose, Punch? I painted mine. Everyone else is painting theirs. Besides, you look good in green. Twiggy reached up and touched the tip of his nose. Yours is so cute. With that, she turned and walked away. Bye-bye, she waved. Punchinello moved one hand from her ear to his nose. He turned and looked as his reflection in the store window. Lucia had to grab his hand to get his attention. Come on, Punchinello, let's go. As he walked past the store, he noticed Willie Witchett, exclaiming his nose in the handle-held mirror. Later at home, he did the same. I never noticed before, but my nose sure looks pale.
Aw, it sounds like he's being left out.
Right. The next morning, Punchinello walked down the street with his friends, Splint and Woody.
Splint and Woody?
Good names for wooden puppets, right?
I think so.
Are you really thinking about it? Woody asked. Sort of, Punchinello answered. They say the paint stings your nose. Woody volunteered, and it stinks, Splint added. The brush could get into your eyes, Woody continued, and it only comes off with sandpaper.
Oh, no.
Woody continued, and it only comes off with sandpaper, Splint nodded. Shh. Punchinello put a finger to his lips and pointed to a large crowd of green-nosed Wimricks standing in the square. Something's going on.
Wonder what's happening.
The mayor was standing on a platform. His wife, nose freshly painted, and Willie Whithits were on the other side of him. Welcome, one and all, to the first meeting of the Nosy Wimrick Club.
That's a silly name.
Yeah, I know, he announced. Your glistening green sets you apart as wit-hit Wimmricks. As if on cue, Wimmricks began stroking their noses. You are classy, you are keen, you are awesome, you are
Green! That
Right.
rhymed.
Proud of his poetry, the mayor smiled at the Wimmricks, applauded. We owe it all to Willie Whithit, he shouted over the noise, the pioneer of the painted snout. Everyone applauded even louder. People love me because of you, one shouted. I have more friends, cried another. With a green nose, I am a better Wimmerick, exclaimed the third. The mayor hung a medal around the neck of Willie Whithit. You have changed the true face of Wimmericksville. We salute your brilliance. Without you, we'd all look alike.
Oh, no.
The mayor paused, looking for the right word. Then he saw Punchinello and his friends pointing in their direction. He declared with a scornful laugh, Them! Everyone else laughed too. Punchinello and his two friends lowered their heads and covered their noses.
Oh, maybe they were embarrassed.
Yeah, let's hear it for Willie Whithit, shouted the mayor, the Wimmricks who discovered the cure for the common nose. There they are, all sticking their noses up.
Oh, that's not very nice of them.
As the townspeople shouted and applauded, Woody Splint and Punchinello quickly turned and walked away. They didn't stop until they stood in front of the nose coloring shop.
In front of it?
In front of it. Within a matter of minutes, all three were painted and walking down Wimrick Lane. Hey, Punchinello, asked Splint, pushing his nose upward. I'm doing it right. Punchinello didn't look. I can't see you, Splint. If I turn my nose, won't be in the air. Phew, this is tough work, Woody added. Not only do you have to get painted, but you have to walk weird. Yeah, but doesn't it feel great to be with it? Punchinello asked. And for a few days it did. They hung out with other green-nosed, made weekly visits to the the nosicures and the nose polish. You could get your nose polished.
They had nose polish?
Right. They brought nose gloves for cold days and nose brellas for rainy ones. All three read Willie Whithit's new book, Winner by a Nose. Most of all, they enjoyed looking down their noses at the unpainted Wimmricks.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one day, when they were feeling especially smug, Splint said to Punchinello, I just can't imagine who wouldn't have a green nose. Punchinello agreed. Everyone with a green nose is so what? The voice interrupted. It was Lucia. Punchinello was embarrassed. I haven't seen you in a while, he said. You haven't seen anyone in a long time, she replied, except yourself. He started to speak, but didn't. He was bothered by what she said, and he was even more bothered by what he saw. He saw it the next morning as the three were walking into Wimmericksville. Standing on the other side of the road was a Wimmerick with a red nose.
Wait, a red nose?
Red nose. He needs to get with it, they said to the other. But then they saw another Wimmerick, also with a red nose, then a third and a fourth. By that time, they were in the village. They were surrounded by red-nosed Wimmricks.
Try saying that one again.
Red nose, you say it.
Red-nosed Wimmricks. I know, that sounds so funny.
And those whose noses weren't red were in a line to have them painted.
Oh, wow. Hey, make sure they see that picture.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Step right up, showed Willie Whithit from the steps of his store. Green noses are out, red noses are in. But we just got our noses painted green, they told him. No problem, he replied. Our red will cover the green. Step right up and get in style. The three friends looked at each other sadly. We thought we were in style, Woody moaned. What could they do but stand in line and have their noses painted red? For a few days, they fit in until one morning they saw, guess what? Blue-nosed Wimmricks.
Blue noses?
Oh no, they said to each other, not again. So they changed colors. But it was only a short time until the blue-nosed Wimricks became pink-nosed Wimricks. Then pink was out. It was yellow. Then yellow was out. It was orange.
Oh my, it keeps changing.
Soon Punchinello and his buddies had so many layers of paint on their noses that they couldn't remember what they looked like at all. This has to be the final color, they said, the day they walked out with orange noses. But once again, they were wrong. I'm so tired of this, Woody moaned when he saw a purple painted-nosed Wimrick.
Purple painted nose Wimrick.
Yeah, I wish my nose was common again. The three sat on a rock and hung their heads. Me too, they agreed. Punchinello, I should have listened to Eli. You think he could help us? Why don't we go ask him? All three turned at the sound of the familiar voice. Lucia, they said. He asked about you every day, she told them. Is he mad? Punchinello wondered. Sad, but not mad. Punchinello looked toward Eli's house on the hill. He told me to tell you to come, Lucia spoke again. Could I take my friends? Of course. Would you go with me? Certainly. And so the four began the long walk up the hill to Eli's house. When they reached the top of the hill, Eli stepped out of the workshop and began walking toward them. He met them in the yard. One by one, he examined their noses. Been trying to fit in, huh? Punchinello nodded. Did you succeed? Not really. Every time we got close, someone changed the rules. That's the way it is. And my neck hurt from sticking my nose so high in the air, Woody added. You weren't built to walk that way.
No, you're not.
We just want to be ourselves again, Splint said. I'm glad to hear that. Can we? They asked. Of course you can, Eli replied. I've always helped you be who I made you to be. Then he reached in his pocket and pulled out a piece of sandpaper. But it's going to take some time. And so Punchinello and his friends followed their maker into the workshop where he spent the rest of the day removing the paint. It hurt to be sanded, but it was worth it to be normal again. The end.
The end. Wow, Pastor Andy, that was a good story.
It was. Can I do a favor now for you?
Sure. Can you take the blue off?
Yeah, I like your nose the way it is, Reginald.
You know, I was listening to the story and it kind of reminded me a little bit of God.
It did?
Yeah, you know, how all the little puppets, the Wimricks that you were calling them, they were trying to just do their own thing to try to fit in.
Yep.
But Eli, the creator of all the puppets, he said, you don't have to do that.
Right, he made them each special.
Yeah, and he made them special, and all they had to do was just go and talk to Eli. Why didn't the Wimricks go and talk to Eli, the maker, earlier?
I think we just try to do things on our own. So, we've all been made with special gifts. We're all different in wonderful ways.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
You don't have to have the fanciest nose.
Nope.
Or the best hat.
Or the best hair.
Or the best hair. You just have to be who you are.
Yep.
Who God created you to be.
Who God made you to be. So, be who God made you to be this week.
You betcha.
We should sing.
Oh, we should sing. Thanks for joining us today, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna sing a song, and this is called Sanctuary.
And you sing with us.
All right, and it goes like this.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Bye. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week. Be a blessing to everyone.
Yes, be a blessing.